Why? Why are you doing this to me? Why? Buster Faulkner. Why? We don't deserve this. Maybe we do, right? Coach Troutwine, talk to me. Y'all, we just gotta drop a bomb and get the best interior offensive lineman in the country signs with Florida. Hey, this is great news. And we talk and listen, if you're watching this, you're probably just saying, like, hey, like, didn't you just do a show with JB from Iffy and the Gator podcast? Yes, we literally just did a show, but this news broke and we had to talk and dive into it as we were previewing the spring game. And if you haven't checked it out, you should check it out right now. But needless to say, number one interior offensive lineman in the class, Maxwell Hiller, is a Gator until signed. Verbally committed. He's a Gator, right? And this is just the beginning of what could be a great weekend if you're a Florida Gator for Gator Nation. Now there's questions. Is this the most important commit of the class, right? Does this signal a shift in becoming a more physical offensive line, right, when the time comes, and building from the inside out? Can Florida finally rebuild an elite offensive line, right? You think about some of the good ones. Obviously, Slater we just had. You think about the Pouncey twins, right? There's so many good Gators out there, right? And it feels like with this type of commit, not just any old five-star, the number one interior offensive lineman from Pennsylvania, Maxwell Hiller, has committed to the Gators. He didn't even wait till Saturday. He didn't even wait to see what the product was going to be like. He committed today to be a Florida Gators. Listen, this is awesome, right? This hopefully could be the start of a recruiting domino, right, that we're going to get, because we got a lot of recruits who come to the spring game. But let's kind of dive in. Let's kind of talk about this. Maxwell Hiller, right, from Pennsylvania. Let me look this up. What part of Pennsylvania is our guy from? He is from Coatesville, Pennsylvania, right? Five-star commit. Listen, ranked not just the number one interior offensive line, ranked number 4 in the class of 2027. Huge grab, huge pickup for John Summerall, Coach Troutwine, Buster Faulkner in that offense. Obviously, we know we have questions in regards to what this offensive line is going to look like, right? I think they have an idea of some of the guys with the guys that they brought in and the guys that are there, and they just don't have the combination, right? And this is going to be a heavy emphasis going forward, is building this offensive line, right? Building from the inside out. And it starts with our guy, Maxwell, right? Listen, this is kind of a program-changing type of commit. And I'm not overreacting, because offensive line are hard to come by. Like, you could get the number one, receiver or running back, and they may not always pan out, right? But with linemen, it takes time for them to develop, right? Linemen aren't always going to be so quick to leave in the portal. Linemen is more of a process. And it's probably one of the closest groups on a football team, right? So that's why I'm more excited about getting high caliber potential with the big uglies up front versus if we were to get, the number one wide receiver tight end. And don't get me wrong, I'd be happy about that too. But those guys, based on history and what college football is today and in the transfer portal, what we've seen, those guys are more likely to leave if the success is not there, if the playing time is not there, if it's not what they sought out to be. If the money's not there, if they're not paid on time, with offensive and defensive linemen, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different. So this is what makes me even more excited to get a guy like Maxwell. Now, why did he commit? Listen, we weren't even on his radar. Let's be honest. We weren't even on his radar when this whole thing started. John Summerall comes in. He brings in his coaching staff, but he brings in the key guy. He brings in Coach Troutwine, former Gator, right? And since Troutwine's became a Gator, or since he's came back to being a Gator, this guy's probably been one of the most influential recruiters out there at a very high important position group. You think about some of the guys, he's going to have a first-round pick this year in a guard. I can't pronounce his name, from Penn State. You think about Ole Fashanu, right? Just came from Penn State. There's another guy there that was drafted before. He's produced quality first-round offensive linemen at Penn State, right? He's bringing a I hate to say it, but a Big Ten upfront mentality to the SEC, to Florida, to Gainesville, to the blue and orange, right? So not only has he killed it in regards to bringing recruits in for this most recent class for the portal, right? Even TJ Shanahan from Penn State came with Troutwine to Florida, but he's off to a hot, blazing, and amazing start for 2027, getting a guy like Maxwell. And this only proves that people are trusting Summerall, people are trusting Troutwine, people are trusting the vision of this program and what it could be going forward, right? And I was just talking to my friend earlier today, and I was like, listen, I hope and pray that Summerall really could get us going where we want to be. I had a lot of hope and faith in Billy, and I think a lot of us did. However, it didn't work out. We just never got going. And the fact that Summerall came in and just says, listen, I'm trying to win now. And you saw that through the moves that they made in the portal with getting the guys they got. And we're going to see that this Saturday and how the team is going to look. It just gives us more hope and excitement on Florida getting back to relevancy sooner rather than later, right? Now, Maxwell Hiller, he's a guy with a high football IQ from what his high school coaches are saying about him. He's honestly, he could potentially be a plug and play type of guy. He's 6'5", 300 and can move, right? Already physically SEC ready as a junior currently in high school right now, right? Max Preps All-American, second team, Under Armour All-American. He is the most recruited offensive lineman in the country, and the fact that we was able to steal him from teams like Ohio State, right? Huge grab. Big Ten country in Pennsylvania. We stole him from Ohio State. Teams like Tennessee, teams like Alabama, who desperately need offensive linemen. We was able to get him. He was able to come to Gainesville, trust what the coaches are selling, trust the vision. And listen, as I mentioned before, he's someone that could probably play right away when he gets down to Gainesville. Now, why he picked Florida? The main reason he picked Florida was the relationship he had with Phil Troutwine, right? He's been heavily recruited ever since Troutwine got to Florida. Multiple visits to Gainesville. I believe he's going to be in Gainesville this Saturday. He picked Florida because relationships matter. But as we mentioned before, this is where he wanted to be. He didn't have to commit today, right? He was going to Florida Saturday for the spring game. He didn't have to commit today. So did he? I'm glad he did. As I started the show, Summerall, what do we do to deserve this? What do we do to deserve for you to get somebody as good as Troutwine and Buster on the offensive side? For them to go out and get the guys like this, right? To bring us back to relevancy, to bring our offense back to what it used to be, right? And that was a feared elite weapon offense, but also we had some big uglies. We had some big uglies. Now, he's the first top tier offensive lineman to sign in the John Summerall era, right? He's going to bring in a sense of physicality, which we like, especially with this offense, right? Especially if we want to move fast. And he could be a foundation piece to Buster Faulkner's offense and Troutwine and what he's trying to build on that offensive line at Florida, right? So listen, Gator Nation, I'm excited. As I mentioned before, just did the show previewing the spring game. Maxwell Hiller committed during that show. We're back to give you a live reaction. And drop a comment. Let me know how you guys feel about this. What do we think about this? What does this mean for Florida? Listen, it's a great time to be a Gator, and we're talking Gators.